Welcome to the 10th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to those of you who are watching us for the first time, and welcome back to our returning viewers. Today's episode takes us all the way to Shelburne, Ontario and Alliston, Ontario. Now, I know that you'll notice on our videos that there's some snow on the ground. And we videotape, we're both in education, and we videotape some of it in March break, which is easier for us to get away and some time to do our adventures. Yes, so that's what you'll notice on our videos. So before we talked about Shelburne and Alliston, Colleen will talk about what we are wearing.
All right, so when you take a look at May, she is wearing a hack of the Katy shawl. And that's by the Cozy Up Designs. So it's the Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters from Grand Prairie, Alberta. And I was making the Katy shawl, which you'll see in our finished objects. And May, I held it up to myself and said, May, what do you think? And she said, I love it, I want it to be small and not so big. So I decided I could hack the pattern. And I thought it would be okay because the Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters folks love to hack patterns, so I knew it would be okay with them if I did. So what I did was I used Berroco Comfort Sock, and that's 50% nylon, 50% acrylic. It's one of your favorites.
It does feel very nice. Yeah. It's one of the things I like.
So it's white with a black contrast.
And I like that it's not a stripe, but there's that little circle in there. I'm not sure what you call that.
They called it an eyeball, and it's what it works. It's a really neat stitch pattern. It is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to describe how to do it, but that's what it is. So what I did was I did the first part of the shawl that made this triangle, and then I just folded back the flaps, and I actually decided to sew them together for you, just so that you could pull it over your head and make it easier.
Yeah, fantastic.
And it looks really nice. And I think I might make one for myself as well, because I think in the summer it looks really nice, but it wouldn't be too much around your neck. So I think I'm going to do that for me. So what I'm wearing is the Reverb shawl, and that is a shawl that was designed by Felicia Lowe of Sweet Georgia Yarns, and it was designed to be used for a party of 5. For Christmas, our friends Paul and Lori went to Espace Tricot in Montreal and picked up its Julie Asselin Leizu Nuance, and it's a gradient set, and it was the Aura Sun colorway, and I thought that would work with the pattern. It's similar to a party of 5 because of the 5 colors.
It worked out great.
And it's comfy, and I have to tell you that I am new to the blocking scene. I blocked this and didn't like how it came out, but I think it's my fault because I think I aggressively blocked it. It's described as a heart-shaped shawl, and I think I didn't make it a heart-shaped shawl. So what I did was I said, okay, this isn't working. I'm only 5'2". I ended up making it really long. So I just put it in the water again with some soak, and I blocked it less aggressively, and I'm really liking how it sits now.
Yeah, it sits a lot better. I can't believe doing blocking differently can make that much difference in a look. It looks like a totally different scarf.
Absolutely. So it's learning, right? Every time you do something new, you learn something else. So I've learned that with this, but I really like it. I'm enjoying wearing it. I like to wear gray, but gray sometimes makes me look gray. So this I can put over top of a gray t-shirt or a gray
the colors
turtleneck,
are fantastic,
and it works. So I'm happy with that. So that's what we're wearing. So next we're going to talk about our finished objects. My first finished object is the Katy shawl. So I showed that already. I'm just going to show it again. It's by Cozy Up Designs, and I used 2 yarns. The first one, which is the navy, is called Malabrigo Sock, and it's 100% superwash merino wool. It's in the Côte d'Azur colorway, so I use that. And then the gray blue, which is called Ghost in the Machine, is by Crooked Kitchen Yarns. And we went to that trunk show.
That was that trunk show, yes.
Exactly.
And you love this wool.
Oh my goodness, every time. I love it. So I know some people will say your ends aren't woven in, it's not a finished object, but it's a finished object. So if you take a look, we got to hold it up this way because that's the right side. We're going to be hiding behind it. You can see some of those eyeballs, and it changes, and the pattern changes, and there's lots of lovely garter stitch. I absolutely love this. The yarn was brilliant. The pattern was amazing. So Cozy Up sisters, you did a great job.
See, the pattern looks familiar?
It does, and it sits nicely. I used the I-cord bind off, so Katy, good for you for sticking to your guns about the I-cord bind off because I love it. And it just finishes off things so nicely. So I was really pleased with that. It's done. I've decided this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to weave in my ends gently. I'm going to cut them, but not cut them too short. Then I'm going to block it, and then I'm going to go back and cut off the rest of the ends. And I think that's what is going to work for me, because if I don't get those things tied in, then I'm going to feel weird about blocking it. It doesn't need much blocking at all, so I'm quite thrilled with it. So that's that. Last episode, I was showing some bookmarks. So I have 3 of them done. They're all in different yarns. So that is some of the National Parks collection. It's the Aluvic colorway. That's by Fleece Artists. I've done one that is in Bernat socks, and that's called Tutu. And then I've done another one, and that's in Bernat socks, and it is in newsprint is the colorway. So it is a linen stitch. They're designed to be gifts for the people that are out west that I'm going to head off to visit. I really like linen stitch, and that's going to come up when we're talking about our first knit along. I'm very excited.
Knit along?
Yes.
Excellent.
But we're not going to talk about it right now, but shortly.
And also, I love that you can use up that scrap wool.
Exactly.
It's a great idea.
It is, and it goes quick, and you can sit and watch TV and get it done, and then it's a present. Now, I know people have e-readers, but I also know people have books or textbooks or whatever they need to do. So I think those will be useful for them. The other thing that I did was sewing, not knitting, and it is one of those DPN cozies. So this works. I like this side the best. It says procrastinating. Okay. So I had for my niece, who is out west, I had made her a project bag, which you've seen in previous episodes, and it was in this kind of light green. And so I decided the snaps would be green. I decided I'd choose the wording very well. And so that's for her. So I'm going to kind of make her up a little kit. I'm going to give her some notions, and hopefully that'll help her on her knitting journey.
No, they look finicky. They're hard to do because I know some sides you do lining and all that. Is it really small? Is it difficult to sew?
There's little tricks in it as far as making the lining a little smaller than the outside. But I have to tell you, the snaps that I get and the tool to put them in, it works great. And I got it at Fabricland.
You do a wonderful job with these.
Oh, well, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's my last finished object. And now we're going to talk about May's.
Well, this is myself kayaking when we went up to Colleen and I went up to Tobermory, and we went with some friends and we were out there kayaking, and I wanted to kind of capture that moment. And I thought, because it's May and it's spring, we can't wait to get the kayaks back out again. And so I thought I would just paint that. And
it's a great picture. It's a really good.
And yeah, that is me.
Exactly
that
how
is
you
me
look. There was a little terror on your face because the wind was going quite a lot.
Oh yeah, there was a whole other story behind that, but we won't go there. That's a whole other episode.
All right. Okay, I do have one more finished object. So I'm going to show it to you. So it's a project bag. It's got some lovely little sheep. It's got a handle.
I have to say, this is my favorite material.
It's nice and lined with some polka dots.
I love the sheep.
I know. So I would love to keep it, but I'm not going to keep it. So the reason why I made it is that we've been discussing how can we say thank you to the people who are watching us, people are getting involved. And so we've decided to have a knit along. So in bouncing ideas back and forth with May, we've decided that we're going to have, here goes a mouthful, a Hilary Smith Callis Cowl. So a Hilary Smith Callis knit along. The reason for choosing that is your patterns that you like, the Anguli cowl, the Aeque cowl, those are Hilary Smith Callis patterns. She has a lot to choose from, and most of them are fairly small. She has sweaters, she has bigger shawls, but she has a lot of things. And the other thing that I looked for was I wanted things that could be free. Not everybody can afford to spend $6 or $7 on a pattern. So there are some patterns that are free. So I'm going to show you some of the ones. So this is a pattern called the Cerus scarf. So here's an example. And that's that linen stitch that we talked about. It's DK yarn. So there's something that you could do for the knit along. Here's a cute little sweater for a baby. It's called Candlestick. It's also a free pattern. The next 3 aren't free patterns, but they're lovely. So here's what I was mentioning. There's the Anguli Cowl.
I have the Anguli Cowl right here, actually.
Yes, you do. So that's one of those.
So it looks like.
Yep. There's the Aeque Cowl, which you were wearing last time.
Episode, yes.
This is the Euclidean shawl. So it's a bit of a bigger project, but I like it very much.
Now, those are all paid for patterns?
The last 3 are paid for. The Candlestick and the linen scarf that I showed you are free. I'm trying to think what else she has free. There are some fingerless mitts for babies, which are really quite cute actually there. So I want to get into the specifics of the knit along. The knit along is going to start on May 11th. This episode will be going up on that day. It's a perfect day to start. So that's going to go on our Ravelry group. It's the MC Knitting Adventures Ravelry group. There will be an introductions thread there. There will be a chatter thread, and then will be a finished objects or FO thread, but no chatter in there. And we are going to pull from the FO thread, and we're going to give you until the 15th of June. So it's going to start on the 11th of May, and it's going to go to the 15th of June.
2018.
2018. And the good thing about that is a lot of her patterns are smaller, and you'll be able to get through them fairly quickly. So I'm really excited. I'm excited
to see how this all works.
Exactly. And we have
what a great gift. I hope you all win this gift.
Okay, well, we only have one. So somebody's going to win. We will do what most people do, which is the random number generator. And so I'm excited. So it's going to be on the Ravelry page, and it's MC Knitting Adventures. Join the group, get involved, start putting information in, and I can hardly wait to see finished objects.
And again, it's our way to say thank you for contributing all your positive comments. We really appreciate that, and that's what keeps us going every couple of weeks. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our finished objects. It's our first knit along. I'm very excited. And now we're going to talk about our works in progress. My first work in progress is a cowl. And it is called the Paton's, some people say Paton's, metallic spiral cowl. And a few years back, I knit a whole lot of these, and they were great Christmas presents.
You did a lot of great gifts then.
Yes.
Nice colors you used.
Exactly.
Great
so if
colors.
you can hold that up for me. So that's what it looks like. It is a lovely weight because it's got all the lace involved. Here's the yarn. It's Paton's Metallic, which is 63% nylon, 28% acrylic, and 9% wool. And it knits up fairly quickly. You have a couple of people at work.
I have some great people at work, Sherry and Alice.
And they've been really supportive of our podcast.
They have. They've been very good, and I really appreciate working with them because they're just doing such a great job what they do, and they're very good at work and supporting me not only. So it'd be nice to give them a nice gift just to show my appreciation.
So when May said she wanted to do a little something, I thought these are perfect. I had a little bit of yarn in my stash, and I thought I can do this. Actually, when we were at Listowel, they had this yarn, and I wish I'd bought more.
Right.
I didn't, but that's okay. We can always go back. Those are the rules, right?
We're always going back to all these stores.
There we go. So that is the spiral cowl. It's a free pattern. So if you go online and put in Paton's Metallic Spiral Cowl, it comes up. And it's only one page. It's very quick and easy to do. Just a little bit of lace, but it ends up just being 2 rows back to back.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy with that.
And, she requested to have gray because they both wear a lot of black apparently. So the gray will go well.
And this color is actually called pewter. So I think it's brilliant. It's got a little bit of shine to it. So I really like it. All right. We are still on the sock train. Okay. My oldest son's birthday is it's at the end of May, so I better get my act together and get this done. I have one of the socks done. So I'm using Regia Cotton Cascada. I wanted to try using some cotton because Kevin is his name, and he lives in Hong Kong, and it's very hot there. So I wanted to have something with cotton. So it's got cotton, wool, and polyamide in it. Okay, and here is what it looks like. I love the color. It's number 03997, and it goes from a cream to a blue to a tan and then back. And I really, really like it. It is a little looser than some of the socks that I've been knitting. I think the cotton doesn't have as much
stretch. No,
it's not even stretch. It's the opposite of stretch. It doesn't hold itself quite as well. But I think it's going to be comfy for him.
In the knitting world, there has to be a word for that.
I know.
In the knitting world, there's a word for everything.
Exactly. So this is that pattern that I've used, which is Katy Lou's sock pattern by Dragonpine Designs. And I'm really quite pleased with them. I've got only a few more weeks and I have to get it sent to Hong Kong. So I think my little fingers better start knitting quickly. So I'll get that cowl done and then I better get going on that. So that's the first of the 2 socks. Now, the second sock is one that I am making for myself. When we were in Coldwater, I decided I'd like to buy some opal yarn. I don't have any opal yarn in my stash and I wanted to get some. And I decided that I was going to get some with cotton. So I'm in the cotton, let's see what that looks like kind of thing. So this is called Opal Cotton Premium. That's the yarn. And it has 38% wool, 32% polyamide, and 30% cotton. So it is working a little differently than the stuff that I have to make Kevin's. What I decided, because it's making it for me, is I wanted to try a different sock pattern. So this is one that many people have done. So it's Hermione's Everyday Sock Pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, so I thought it's a good thing to try. So it's got a pattern texture to it.
It's a nice texture.
It is a nice texture. And what I like about it is it's not ruining the stripes. This yarn itself, can I just hold up the ball? Yeah, that's perfect. This yarn itself is a little muted. So when you see the pattern, it just shows the stripes and it still shows them there. So I'm really happy with it. I've tried it on a little bit. I'm still working on those. I think I'm going to have to put these aside and get Kevin's done. But it's such a fun pattern and it's a 4-row repeat. So, just 4 more rows. Just 4 more rows. I'll get them done. So I'm really quite happy with it. It's got that purple in it that I love so very much. And I'm hoping that those will look nice with my new shoes.
They'll be nice.
I know. I think they'll be great. So that is my works in progress. And now we're going to talk about our adventure.
Today's adventure takes us to Shelburne, Ontario and Alliston, Ontario. I'll first talk about Shelburne, Ontario. It has a population of about 7,200, so a very small little community. It is best known for an annual Canadian Championship fiddling contest held every year in August.
Oh, wow.
So, with a population of 7,200, that's quite a feat. So the little wool shop in there is called the Wool and Silk Yarn Store. Previous to that, how I think it got its name was it was a bakery store, and the bakery store was called Silk Bakery. And I think previous to that, it was called the Shelburne Bakery.
Right, absolutely.
So they say a lot of the wool, the shells that the wool is on and the yarn, is what they would have in the bakery before.
That's good, the shells.
So,
yeah, that's great.
It's quite a cute little store along the highway there. Mm-hmm. I think when we drive to these little tiny places, I often think, where do people work and what do they do? But apparently, I think a lot of people in Shelburne commute to Orangeville, Brampton, Greater Toronto area.
Probably, I think so. Yeah. So, at one point in time, we lived, my family lived not too far. It was a place called Caledon East, and my dad actually worked and was based out of Toronto. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we talked to a nice lady there. Her name was Helen. She's not the owner, but she's always we've talked to her a few times actually.
Exactly. She's
She's always very knowledgeable and kind. And I think they do the yarn crawl that we've talked about
They
too.
do, absolutely.
So that there's the one where you get the passport and you belong to different...
Right, and I've got a little bit of information. It's called the Lakeside Yarn Crawl, and there's 11 to 12 local yarn shops that are going to take part in it.
Okay.
They're working on, oftentimes they will get a special colorway that's just for this year. So in 2018, I don't know what it is. I could see online the one from 2017. Right. You're right about the passport. You do that, and then you try and get to as many of those stores. So I'm hoping.
I think there's prizes and all that kind of thing.
Yes, there's all kinds of good prizes.
And it starts from June and it goes right until Labor Day. So we've got quite the time to get to all those little stores. Exactly. I think that we're going to do that this summer. I think we should do that.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
It'd be great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So maybe we'll run into some of you there. That would be awesome.
And we probably could do a little camping when the weather's warm. from her?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That would be a great
That's a plan.
venture for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Now, the owner there is Diane, and we went in and we took some photographs, but I don't like to post photographs unless we have permission from the owners, and they're all very, very good and very kind. And so I did have a conversation with Diane, or she did call and give us permission. So we really appreciate that, Diane, and your store is absolutely amazing. Next one, we went to Alliston, population a little higher, 19,247. And I believe the population is a little higher there because the Honda manufacturing company or industry is not too far from there. And so I think that's why they get a lot of, population and housing and that type
would make
of thing.
Sense,
yeah,
absolutely.
This particular store was in a little plaza, and we talked to the girl there. Her name was Sharon.
Yeah.
Very nice. And I also talked to a lady there that was one of their customers, and she is from the Simcoe Board of Education. So we had a nice conversation. I think you were looking for wool at that time.
I probably was.
Now she said, if one of your adventures, maybe you could go to the Upper Canada Fibre Shed. I've never heard of it, not sure what it was. I just thought I'd write it down. I'm just going to mention it to you. Maybe all of you know what that is, or you've been there, but she seemed to think that this would be a great place to visit for us to go.
Okay. I looked online and I could see that they have different events, and so we're going to try and see if we can go to one. That would be great.
Now the Alliston store, they don't do any online business. A very small little store. You can talk a little bit more about the wool that they have, but it was a very tiny little store. They don't do online. In fact, I don't even think they had a computer there, but anyway, it was cute. Everybody was very friendly. Really appreciated Sharon's knowledge. And they had a lot of needles and that to choose from, as you can see from one of the photos.
Absolutely. Now, the Wool and Silk Company, while I think of it, they do online orders. You can order online. They will, if you go and get their newsletter, they have certain sales for certain months. So that's exciting. And my understanding is, the last time I looked on their website, that if you ordered over $100 worth of whatever, like from online, their shipping would be free.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I know.
So I'm glad you found that information out.
did.
And that was in Shelburne? No,
that was one in Shelburne. So it's called the Wool and Silk Company. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we it was great going to these little towns, and we ended up going to Subway for lunch, a quick lunch that day, because we were visiting a couple of the stores. But it was another great adventure for us to do that. So thank you so much, Colleen.
Your pictures are brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good. So that's our adventure. So next we're going to talk about our souvenirs. I had a great time getting souvenirs at the two stores that we visited. So first of all, here's the card for the Wool and Silk Company. That's the store that's in Shelburne. And there were so many things to choose from. It was really difficult to choose. So I'm going to show you something. I've shown this to you before. I purchased this a year ago. And I was looking to see, this is Juniper Moon Farm Harriet Fine. It's got baby alpaca, and it's blended with polyamide. I got to get better saying that. And so I wanted to get something that would go with it. I really enjoy a two-color shawl. And with alpaca, I'm not going to do anything that's going to be a garment, so I thought I'll get another color. This color I think is called Travertine, and the one that I already had was called Deep Plum Passion, which is lovely. So this is my new one. This is the souvenir, but I'm going to pair it with that, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make a two-color shawl.
Nice.
So I was really happy with that. Then they have lots of samples at the Wool and Silk Company, and so I fell in love with this yarn. So if you can hold that up.
Sure.
So this is Serdar Baby Bamboo, and it is beautiful, and the colors are so pretty, and they have a pattern which is called the Sidestepping Cowl. I'm not sure you can see that, but it came as a kit. It only needs 2 of these balls. And so what I'm going to do is make this cowl. It has, let me just see what it's got in it, my dear. It has bamboo and wool. And so it's a little bit lighter, and I think it's going to be lovely. I really like this, and I may try and get some more of this and make that spiral cowl out of that instead of the metallic.
Yeah.
Because I like it, and it's light, and I think it's going to work. So it was neat to have the kit. I know if I find a different color and buy 2, I'm going to be able to do the same thing. The sidestep cowl kind of has some stitches that kind of go up. I think that's why it's called sidestep. And I think it will be a great pattern.
I love the color.
Absolutely.
Beautiful blue.
So if you take a look at these two things, and if you hold those up, I got to go grab one thing. Just hold those up for me. I'll be right back. So sorry. You're such a good assistant, and I'm not always doing my job. So this is the pattern that this lace weight yarn is going to be. And what Helen was talking about at the Wool and Silk Company was the fact that Blacker Yarns has all kinds of free patterns. So this is the Hartland Cliffs shawl. It is very open, and I think this is going to be lovely. So there's white, and this actually is called Duck's Egg, and I love it.
Beautiful colors.
I know.
The wool feels very fine.
It is. It's lace weight, so it's going to be very fine to work with, but I think it will be lovely to wear kind of on a cool summer evening just to keep you warm enough, but not be hot. And so I think it's going to be great.
Colors for the summer.
Exactly. So I was thrilled with that, and I've got the pattern all ready to go, so we'll be able to get that done.
Be interested what that looks like when it's done.
Exactly. So that's that. Oh, one other thing I forgot. I had been doing a little bit of crochet, and I didn't like the crochet hook that I had. So this is one that's called, it's by Knitter's Pride, it's called a soft grip. And I have taken it out of the package and I've tried it a little bit just to see if it would work. And it's brilliant. I really, really like those. So I think I may replace some of my old metal ones with those.
Now, was that what you made the baskets with?
That's what I made the basket with.
Oh.
Yeah, I had started making the basket with something else, and then we managed to find this. I thought I need to try that.
Oh, all right.
So that's why I did what I did. So that's that.
Sometimes these stash items are quite a surprise because I never go up to the counter when you're buying things. And I come to these podcasts, I'm like, oh, I've never seen that.
That's right. So that's that. So that's what I did at the Wool and Silk Company. And then we headed off to Alliston Yarns. So there's the card. And it was a bit of a smaller store. They had other things to pick from. And I am trying to be mindful that I'm not just grabbing everything, but I want to make sure. So first of all, I wanted to get something for you. And this is the North Shore Prints again. And it is another colorway. It's by Cascade. It is 100% acrylic. It looks like cotton. And I made you one. You wore it with the jean jacket in one of the episodes, and it's brilliant.
The yellow one. Yeah,
exactly.
I love the feel of it.
So I saw this color. I thought this would be brilliant on you, but I'm thinking that if I made this shape, it would be great for the summer.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice and easy for you to work with, and I think it would be fantastic.
I'm always open to a new cowl.
I know. Well, you know what I like is that it kind of just dresses things up a little bit, right? So it's not too much. Now, the last thing, I have been trying to get this ball of yarn for quite a while. So it is Cascade Yarns Heritage Wave. It is called Nightshade. And oh my goodness, it's purple. It's black. What a surprise. And I love it. So I want to, there's two options here. Option one is I'm just going to make a one skein cowl. That's option one. Or option two is I'm going to get some black and I'm going to make a 2-color shawl. I have to decide what I'm going to do with it. But I fell in love with this color. I've had it in my hand in about 3 or 4 different yarn stores. Oh, no. And this time I thought, this is the time to do that. So I'm really happy with this. I'll let you know what I decide I'm going to do with it. If any of you have any of those one skein shawl patterns that you think would be great, please comment below. That would be really helpful to us. If you like what you're seeing with us, feel free to subscribe because we really appreciate that.
And if you have suggestions, we're open to that also. If you want to see more of something, less of something, that would be awesome to get some feedback from you.
Exactly.
And on this journey, I just want to say thanks to all the ladies that we met. It was fantastic.
It was really
Diane
good.
And Helen from Shelburne.
Yeah.
And then Sharon and Karen and Alliston. Thank you.
Exactly.
It was great.
So I just want to give you the rules of the knit along because it starts today. So it is a Hilary Smith Callis knit along. I think May's going to put it down below here so you can see that. You can go on to Ravelry, check out her patterns. There are some, I think there are 11 of them that are free. Choose what you want to do. We're going to start it on the 11th of May. It will finish on the 15th of June, and that's the day that we're going to close the finished objects thread. So we're going to have an introductions thread, put some information in. We're going to have a chatter thread, put some information in. But as far as the finished object thread, just put your picture of your finished object, and then we're going to use a random number generator, and then we'll choose from there. So I am so excited that I can hardly handle it. So we're going to do that. I don't get to win a prize, but I'm going to be knitting something as well, because I know somebody over here who likes the cowls very much. And so I may try and find a different pattern, or I may see what else I can make. But I think you are a knit-worthy friend, and
thank you.
So I'm happy about that. And so I'm going to try and find something from Hilary.
And I'm excited to see what you bring to the table, what you're going to knit. Like, I'm excited about that.
That's our adventure. Thank you for coming along with us.
And until next time.
You take care.